people might have doctor or masters or whatever in front of their name doesn't mean that they actually make sense. On this post, it has over 2,000 reactions on that post, right? Because it makes people feel good. Why does it take 2 weeks to a month, all this type of stuff, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I used to wonder the same thing. Like, why does it take so long? But these I've talked about this. Interviewing and hiring is a very, very expensive process. And it becomes even more expensive if you make the wrong decision. Right? Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In today's episode, I am going to talk to you about perspective that it might be an unpopular opinion, but I want to see what you guys think about it as well. Maybe I'm off, maybe I'm not, right? So this is based on a post that I read on a professional social media platform. You know what it is, LinkedIn, and about the perspective that this person gave, which I'm not going to say I'm going to say it. I disagree with the perspective. And here's the thing, right? This is why I don't really care about people's titles and their accolades and all that type of stuff. I don't really care about what about your titles. I care about what you say, and I analyze what you say, not about the background that makes you seem more credible about it, right? So let's get to it. So I'm going to read to you the post, right? It says 40 interviews and no one was hired. Yet people talk about a war talent and how talents are nowhere to be found. If you interviewed 40 people and didn't hire anyone, then look in the mirror. Don't say every candidate must meet 20 criteria or they're out. Don't be inflexible. Make exceptions for exceptional people. Why not hire someone who is overqualified? If you went into a hospital for an operation, would you worry about your doctor being overqualified? What do you think? So you ask me what I think, I will give you what I think. All right. So first and foremost, I think that analogy that they gave with going about the overqualification, going into a hospital, and if the doctor's overqualified, then would you not have the operation? That analogy makes absolutely no sense because I am paying the doctor's overqualified fees to do that operation on me. It does it doesn't correlate, right? So, and here's the thing, just because people might have doctor or masters or whatever in front of their name doesn't mean that they actually make sense. We can see that in the people who represent us in government. They'll come and stand in front of us with all their little titles and they talk and they say things that make absolutely no sense. And that's why, review what they say, analyze what they say, not who they say that they are, right? So that's the first thing. That's the first thing I take, right? That analogy doesn't make any sense, right? And I can talk about overqualification in a little bit and why, from my perspective at least, why companies seem to not want to take people who are overqualified, right? And so we'll touch on that. But I think that and here's the thing, I'll tell you this, right? On this post, it has over 2,000 reactions on that post, right? Because it makes people feel good. So that means they are going out there and getting more subscribers, more followers, all that good stuff. It has 189 comments and 79 reposts at the moment and growing, right? So, like we've seen this before. We've reviewed it on this channel, and here's the thing: it makes people feel good because they're like, "Oh yeah, this company this company interviewed all these people, and they didn't choose one person." And da 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 da. And it's really because they want to be that person chosen. They have some type of feeling about, Why was I overlooked? Why there's such a variety of reasons why things might happen. And here's the thing. I have been on many sides of the hiring process, whether I'm interviewing, whether I'm being interviewed, or whether I'm the one doing the interviews, right? And it's a process. It's a process. And I haven't seen people say like, "Oh, why are there so many interviews that have like why do you have to do 1, 2, 3 interviews? Why do you why does it take 2 weeks to a month? All this type of stuff, right?" And I'm not gonna lie to you, I used to wonder the same thing. Like, why does it take so long? But these I've talked about this. Interviewing and hiring is a very, very expensive process. And it becomes even more expensive if you make the wrong decision. Right? Why is interviewing so expensive? Well, the first thing is you have to I think recruiters, I might be wrong, but I think recruiters are something that's fairly new, you know? I know of there were agencies that had recruiters, but then having companies have their in-house recruiters, I'm not sure. Like that might be new because there used to be managers looking through the resumes and stuff like that. I know I've looked through countless resumes to try to vet people who would be a good fit for like the teams that I was working on and trying to do, right? And here's the thing. You need to take time out of the day to be able to to review resumes, to get on the interview calls, and then to if you're going to bring them in or whatever the steps is, right? But now with the recruiters, they have to do that and they have to go through countless resumes trying to find the right fit for the team. They need to know where they're placing the people that they're looking into, right? Are they going to be a right fit for that particular team? They need to know the team members and everything like that. They need to know the domain that's being worked on. They need to know the level that they need to vet for. And going through that is difficult, right? It's very difficult. And then you have because I haven't seen all the people who are applying, but in other I've been in a position where I'm reviewing the resumes that are coming in, and it's I would say that a good 90 to 95%, maybe more, of those resumes are not overqualified. They are underqualified for the position, right? Because people will just apply to everything, even if their resumes do not match the qualifications, right? And it's not like they go out there and they study the things that they need for the position so that they can actually add it to their resume and that they can actually level up. Like I like to train my I call them athletes, I call them barbarians, whatever, right? But I like to train my people to study resumes and then go and get those skills so you can be comfortable applying for it, right? And you can actually articulate yourself in what you're applying for, how you use it, all that good stuff. I do I train them to be able to do this type of stuff, right? But my suspicion is that people are just applying without actually trying to learn what the company needs or the companies that they're applying for needs, so that now trying to filter through these resumes that don't meet up, right? Because I'll tell you this, once a recruiter sees somebody who does qualify, even if that person hasn't applied, they're going to reach out and they're going to say, "Hey, can you apply to this company? This is the deal, da da da," and can we get you in, right? But going through the swamp of resumes that don't match up, trying to find that one who does, it's hard. And that's a lot. That's time consuming, which time is money, right? But now, let's say you find it and you take it to, so you start the interview process, right? So after you meet with the recruiter is pretty much walking you through the process, but you're going to be talking to the hiring manager, see how that goes. You might have a technical project that you have to go through. Who knows? It depends on the company, right? Some companies, they give you a take-home project, and then you do it, and then you go back and you talk about it. Some companies, you have to do live coding exercises. You have to whiteboard. You have to explain stuff. Who knows what the deal is, right? It just depends on the company. And it depends on the position as well, because Developers might be like, for a development role, you might be having to, explain some type of coding concept, explain, like, write out some code. For a QA, you might have to do some automation. So many different, like, there's different variables, right? But now, when you have to explain it, it could be that you do not have good communication skills and you can't articulate the work that you're doing. It might be that you didn't even do it yourself, right? You might have outsourced it and gave somebody else to do it. You might be answering all your questions through Chat GPT, right? And by doing that, like, once you get to the interview, when you have to go face to face with people and you can't handle yourself, you can't articulate yourself, then that's where a lot of the part, like, a recruiter can talk to you, right? And they can see, okay, this person's not going to be a good fit. So does that count as an interview? Right? So when you say 40 people interviewed, what part are you considering as an interview? Is it just a recruiter reaching out to you and talking to you via the phone? Is it at the hiring manager stage where they say, oh, no, this person's not gonna be a good fit? Is that considered an interview? Right? Or is it like, okay, you do the take home project and it gets turned down, right? Or you didn't do a good job in the whiteboarding, that gets turned down, right? That's considered part of the interview as well. At what step of failure is happening? And that is the reason that these type of posts, like, they don't tell the whole story. They're more like they are emotionally charged to get you riled up, right? So that you can, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna go follow this person. Like, the comments, like, the comments say, right? Let's read some of the comments, right? Yes, bloody please, right? What else? Like, that's the type of stuff that's being. Let's take a look at some more. Spot on, bravo, true. And it's all BS, right? Because they pull at the emotional heartstrings when people don't understand what is the process and the difficulty that is placed on the side of the, it's not the company that's hiring, right? So understand, it's not the company that's hiring. It's the recruiters, it's the hiring managers, it's the team that's going to be on. They're the ones who are making the decision on who's getting hired. Right. So we try to just drop all the blame on a particular company. But guess what? The people who are making the decisions are people too. And guess what? Like, when I have to turn someone down for a position, right? It's not easy because I know that, like, this person just wants a job. They're trying to they're trying to do something. They're trying to support their family, whatever the case may be, right? But I have to also think that, okay, what we're trying to accomplish, is this person going to be a right fit for it? And if they're not, like, I can't in good conscience say, like, oh yes, because this person is in need. Because if that was the case, then every single person who applies, they would get hired, and then the company would go, like, our company, our team, everything would crash, right? So you just can't make decisions based on that, right? And that's the type of problem that I have with these type of posts, is that they don't tell the full story, right? And they're mostly emotionally charged, preying on the people who feel a certain type of way, instead of, like, you know what? Let me focus on myself, right? Let me focus on me, because if I got turned down for an interview, and so you can try to ask, like, what did I do wrong? But 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, you're not going to get a response, right? But you can definitely do a self-assessment, because you know what you did wrong, right? You know where you messed up. And but guess what, right? It's not only that, because it could be other factors as well, that the reason that you didn't get it, because factors that play a role, right? It could be salary, the amount that you are requiring doesn't match with what they are, what they can afford, what they're willing to pay, right? And maybe they found someone who would take less or not, who knows, right? But maybe they can't afford you, right? That's a possibility, right? Here's another thing, right? What if out of those 40 applicants, they did make an offer, or they were getting ready to make an offer, but the person they were going to offer to, they accepted another position. So let's say they're going to go with plan B, right? And that person, they turned it down because they said it wasn't enough, right? Who knows? Like, so many different factors go into this, right? So what I've mentioned, like, you don't know at what step the actual interview happened, right? Is it when they talk to a recruiter, or is that being counted as an interview? Is it when they talk to the hiring manager? Is it all the way get to the end and it's like, oh nope, like they couldn't articulate themselves in a panel interview with the team, right? Or is it that they get made like someone gets made an offer, but that person turned it down, and then the only things left are the unqualified candidates. So many things, and that's why like I wanted to talk about this because I hate when they pull at the emotional strings of people just for their personal following and liking and all that type of stuff, right? Like I said, I don't care about titles. I care about the things that you say, and I analyze it based on that, right? So now, before we go, let me talk about the overqualified thing. Why do companies not take people who are overqualified, right? And this is my total personal opinion, right? I believe that if someone is overqualified and you want to put them in a position at a company, right? The only thing that I see that is tough about that is how long will they last at your company if they are overqualified? Because, like I said, hiring is expensive. It can go. It's in the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars to hire one person, right? And because I've done the math at a previous company, I did the math, right? The amount of hours that are being spent, the amount of people who have to like vetting through resumes, like the amount of people you actually have to interview, right? And then after you interview them, going through the whole process, like it just takes, it's very expensive, right? And every time someone is rejected, so you think companies like rejecting people? No, it's not cost efficient, but it's even worse if you hire just anybody and they don't work out, and it's tough, right? So the problem I see with overqualification is that you can hire someone who is overqualified, but it's how long will they last in that position, right? Because if they're not satisfied in the work that they're doing, and if they're overqualified, and that means that they might be underpaid because of what you can actually afford, but if they are like quote unquote desperate for a position and they like, I'll take the position because I need something, and then they're still looking and they're still trying to level up to go to where they actually want to be. Now you are like, let's say within 3 months they find something else, right? Within 3 months they find something else. Then once they're gone, you are right back to square one, going through that expensive hiring process again. And it's like, well, you know what? If I didn't take the overqualified person, I would have spent a little bit more time, but I would have found somebody who was the right fit. And now I'm not right back again at square one, going through that expensive, tedious process. Because trust me, hiring is not easy. It's not a fun thing to do, right? It's really tough. And that's why I have immense amount of respect for the technical recruiters that I work with, because it is so hard. And then like you have to also like on the technical recruiters part, right? Not only are you managing the people who are applying and interviewing, but you're also managing the people who are doing the interviews, because you have to make sure that they're filling out the information, that they're doing it in a timely fashion, because they're very busy too, right? So you're just trying to manage everything, and it's not easy. So when I see all this, like it's really like trying to bash the people who are in the hiring process and like the people who do the interviews, because it's not the company. Like I said, the company is just an entity, right? But the actual people, this is actually bashing the people who are actually doing the work to get people hired, right? And I'm not with that. I can't support it. And that's what, like, I want people to get hired, and that's why I have like why I have this channel. I'm trying to coach you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you strategize so that you can be in a position to get hired. But at the same time, I have immense respect for the people who do the hiring process, because it is not easy. It is a heavy burden. It is very time consuming. And that's why I just try to put you in the best position to appreciate them and to impress them, so that it can be an easy decision to choose you, right? So that's how I feel about it. 40 interviews and no one is hired, totally possible, because we want the right fit, not just any fit. Okay. So, make exceptions for exceptional people. Trust me, we do, right? But guess what? You got to be exceptional to be made exceptions for. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. All right. And if you have not done so yet, go ahead and like the video, share the video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Am I totally off, or am I spot on, or am I in between? Let me know. And with doing that, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Check out the Patreon at techcoachralph.dev. And on that note, we are out. This is Tech Coach Ralph with another episode of Candid Conversations, signing off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.
Enigmatic Joker.